Hello, my name is Micah Ireland, and today we are going to be covering the basics of the saxophone. The first thing we're going to cover is assembly, and then we will cover the first notes on the neck and the mouthpiece, and then we will cover the first notes with the entire horn, and then last thing we will cover is disassembly and how to properly care when you're putting it away. So the first thing we want to do is make sure that when you have your case, there is a logo facing on top. As you can see, there is a logo right here. It's usually the brand logo. You want to make sure that is on top so that you don't open the instrument upside down. So once you have it on a flat surface where you're not going to drop it, and the logo on top, unlatch and open it up. The first thing you want to do is take this neck strap here. This goes around your neck, and we're not going to use it right now, but it's good to always remember this is the first thing you do so you don't forget later. The next thing you're going to want to do is take out your reed, and you want to be extra careful not to touch the tip of the reed. It is very thin and can easily be damaged if you touch it. Now, most people will soak the reed in their mouth while they're doing the rest of these steps, putting the instrument together. However, for the sake of this video, I will not have it in my mouth so that you can properly hear me. So the next step is taking out the neck. So the first thing you want to do is after you get the neck, is take your cork grease. You should have cork grease in your case, and just apply a generous amount onto this cork. After you've done that, you want to grab the mouthpiece, and with gentle twists, you're going to put the mouthpiece onto the cork. Now, when you're doing this, you want to be extra careful of this octave mechanism right here. It can very easily be damaged, so you don't want to put too much pressure on it. Otherwise, your instrument will not function properly. Now, if your ligature is not already on your mouthpiece, you want to make sure that if you have a stock ligature, that the ligature is with the screws on the right side, on the side with the big hole of the mouthpiece, on the right side with the big hole. So now, since you've been soaking your reed this whole time, you want to take your reed and you want to slide the ligature up and gently slide the reed in. Careful to only touch the sides of the reed and not the tip. And you can slide it until about right here. You want the reed and the mouthpiece to basically have the same length on top. And then just slightly tighten the ligature. And there you go. This is the first step on what to do. The next thing I'm going to be teaching you is how to make the first sounds on the neck and the mouthpiece. The first thing you want to do is grab the mouthpiece about right here. Careful not to be grabbing this octave mechanism because it can easily be bent. Now, the first step to forming your embouchure, which your embouchure is the way your mouth is put together to make sound on the instrument. So the first step is to anchor your top teeth to the top of the mouthpiece. They should be touching. The next step is to slightly curl your bottom lip. Not too much like this. Just slightly put your bottom lip over your bottom teeth. So, and then the last step is to put your lips in the ooh position. So put together, that looks like this. Top teeth, lip curled, ooh. Just like that. So, while you're doing this, keep in mind that your chin should be flat, not bunched up like this. Not bunched up, and that your tongue should be in the he position. You want your back of your tongue to be close to touching your top molars. Now, we're going to put all that together, and we're going to breathe. So, you want to drop your bottom jaw and keep your teeth touching the top, and then blow. And that's your first sound. The next thing we're going to cover is articulation. So now that you can make a sound, we want to have a attack. We want to have a front of the note. So what you're going to do is, if this is your tongue and this is the reed, you want to slightly, not the tip of your tongue touch the tip of the reed, but just under, or yeah, just above the tip should touch the reed. And you just want to touch it and then go back, and then touch it and then go back. And this sounds like this. And there we go. That is your first notes on the mouthpiece and the neck. So the next step we're going to do is teach you how to put the rest of the instrument together and make your first sounds with the whole instrument. So, as you remember, you should have your neck strap on. The first thing you want to do is grab the instrument with two hands, avoiding the rods that are sticking up. So I recommend one hand by the bell and one hand on the back side. And you're going to pick that up, and there will be a small hole right here, you can see, and that's where you're going to put your neck strap. Connect your neck strap to the instrument. Now you should be able to let go of the instrument and it will not fall. You may have a small thing, black cover that goes right here. All you got to do is just take that out and leave it in your case. Now what we do now is to put the mouthpiece, or the neck on the mouthpiece, you want to make sure this screw right here is loose, and you're just going to gently slide it in there. Careful again not to be putting pressure on that octave mechanism. And then we will tighten this screw so that it doesn't fall out. And there you go. Now we have the whole instrument put together. Now, what we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you where to put your hands. Now, there are a couple keys here at the top. You're going to want to skip the very first key right here. Skip this one and put your pointer finger on the second key, second white key. Next, skip the tiny key and put your second finger on your left hand on the second key. And then your third finger just goes on this third key down here. For the right hand, it's a lot easier. It's just 1, 2, 3. First finger, second finger, third finger on the 3 pearls. And that is your hand position. For your thumb, you want to have your thumb resting on this flat piece back here, and you want to be able to just rock your thumb just a little bit to press this octave key when you need to. Now the first thing we're going to do now is I'm going to teach you the first notes. So before we do anything else, we're going to form our embouchure and just blow an open note so we can make our first sound with the whole instrument. Awesome. Now, I'm going to teach you the first 6 notes. So, pressing down the first finger is a B. Pressing down the first and adding the second finger, so the first and second finger, that is an A. Adding the third finger is a G. Adding the first finger down here is an F. Adding the second finger down here is an E. And adding the last finger down here is a D. So those are the first 6 notes that we're going to learn. An easy way to remember this is the words bag fed. Your left hand is B-A-G, bag, and your right hand is F-E-D, fed. It's an easy way to remember, just bag fed is just down the instrument. Now we're going to talk about disassembly of the instrument. The first thing you want to do is unscrew the screw here that we tightened before and gently pull the neck out of the saxophone. Now we want to unscrew these screws and take the reed out gently. Again, do not touch the very tip. It is very easy to chip and very fragile. So we can put our reed back in the little case to protect it, and then put it back in the saxophone case. The next thing you're gonna do is take off the mouthpiece. And again, careful with this octave mechanism. It's very, very easy to bend. Just gently twist it off and put it back in the case. And you can also put the neck back in the case where it goes. Now, the difficult part is swabbing the saxophone. So after playing the saxophone, you get lots of moisture in here and condensation. And leaving that in there can damage the instrument, can damage the pads that are on the keys, and then it will be unable to play. So we want to swab the inside of the instrument to dry it out so that it doesn't have this problem. So you should have this little cloth tied to a string, and there should be a little weight on the end of the string. What you're gonna wanna do is put the weight in the bell, and then just feed the string in and put the cloth in the bell. Now, with your neck strap attached, be sure your neck strap is attached. You want to twist the instrument upside down so that this weight will fall out here. Just like that. And then you just gently pull on the swab, and the swab will collect all that moisture. So then once you're done with the swab, just remember to wrap it back up and put it back in the case. Now, the last thing is the saxophone. Gently grab the neck strap clip and unclip it, and with two hands, you want to put it back in the case. If you had this little black piece before, make sure you put it back in before putting it in the case. And the last step that everyone always forgets is to take the neck strap off and put it back in the case. And that is how you disassemble the saxophone.